Gun sales in the U.S. jumped more than 60% compared to the year before. If the early numbers in Leonardo's story are any indication, this is certain to be another record-setting year for gun purchases. Let's bring in our panel to react. Stacy, I want to go to you first because you're a woman, and I don't know if you own a gun or not, but I've taken my class, I got my permit, and one of the reasons I did it is because I'm a single mom and I do want to protect myself. And look, crime is going up.
Are you asking Stacy if she has a gun?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I look forward to this. Go ahead.
But crime's gone up. We're defunding our police. So I want to get your thoughts on this.
So I do own quite a few firearms, and I just want to recommend to people in times like these when there's very low inventory, it's really advantageous to have a relationship with a gun seller that you have cultivated over the years, where you kind of go there and they know you and they know your family and they know why you're there to buy firearms. You're not a collector, but you're actually someone who's getting training, and you rely on them for their expertise and knowledge to help you choose your next firearm. So now's the time to start making those relationships. And gun sellers are surprisingly fun people to have in your life because they're just regular salt of the earth folks who know everything there is to know about the tools that we call firearms. So as a firearm owner and someone who takes training, and really I care a lot about making sure that I'm a responsible gun owner, I think this is a great time in America because it means a lot more people out there are stepping outside of their fear or the propaganda that they've been told about guns, and they're going find out for themselves. They're buying the firearms, they're shooting them, and they're learning about them and hopefully getting a ton of training. That's great for our country. It's great for people like yourself, Allison.
Yeah.
It's great for America. I love this story, and I hope people will take it for what it is, which is it's a good news story for us.
Yeah, absolutely. How, we hear about, gun reform. We hear about a lot of this. Why do you think the gun sales are going up?
Well, I think it's twofold. I think it's the fear of gun regulation that's going to take guns away from people. I think there's a fear of that. We haven't even talked about the ammo side of it, where there's very large shortages of different types of ammo out there. But I think the bigger fear, and what you're seeing with the women that are buying these guns, has to do with the riots. I think when you see that and you see the crime going up because of the defund the police effort, women are fearful and they're buying guns. I'm sure it's a lot of single women that are buying guns. And look, that's one of the reasons a lot of them voted for Biden. And if they continue to allow this and continue to stoke the racism card every chance they get, and these riots continue like they are in places like Portland, I think they're going to be voted right out of office because that was part of the reason they voted for him, and they're still not feeling safe. They're feeling less safe than ever. So I think those are the two main reasons you're seeing for these sales.
Yeah, Ted, crime's going up. We talked about they're defunding the police. Police officers are retiring. And then we have thousands of people coming over the border. And we see crime going up in Texas and Arizona. So there's a number of reasons, I would think, why gun sales are going up.
Yeah, it just makes complete sense that when the Democrats across the country are defunding the police and they are encouraging these rioters, even the vice president, when she was a senator, she put together a fund to bail out these thugs that were burning down the cities of America. And that's the philosophy of the Democrats. And if they're in charge, I think there's a lot of people across the country that are scared to death about where our country is going. And I think it's a good thing, like Stacy was saying, that women are taking the training and getting the firearms and protecting themselves, because the police are not going to be there when you're being attacked. And so it's important for them to do that. And then you see the president last night on television talking about more gun control laws. And I can assure you, as a former state legislator here in Colorado, we have some of the strictest gun laws in the country. That didn't stop the guy that was at the grocery store a couple weeks ago from shooting up a no-gun zone and killing 10 people. We need to be able to arm ourselves, and that's why the Second Amendment is there, for self-protection of our own selves.
Yeah, Bob, I mean, we have the Second Amendment, and something that Stacy brought up is that, to be a responsible gun owner. And I think that is very important, especially if you do own a gun. It's to get trained on it, and not to just keep it in your safe, but is to really be prepared to learn how to use it if you are in that situation.
I think that there's kind of a different conversation. If you're talking about semi-automatic rifles, you could have that conversation. I would love to see the numbers of how many, especially if there are women getting these, how many are pistols, okay? And you can find some that have a kick that you're comfortable with, some that the bullet transition's easier than others for you. Some may be harder for you to handle. So what I think is happening now is people are less afraid to explore that. What is it like shooting a gun? Where do I get the bullets? Where do I keep this in my house? How do I make sure it's safe if I have kids? I think people are not only taking upon themselves for their own safety that 911 is not going to save them, but they're realizing, oh my goodness, this really is a tool that can help keep me safe. It isn't going to kill people by itself. This is something that people have control over, and I think people are educating themselves.
Yeah, and I think the education is extremely important, and people do get nervous when you hear the president talk about these new regulations or gun control. What does that exactly mean? And that's why we're seeing an increase of gun sales go up. We have an increase in crime, so you just want to protect yourself. And as long as you're trained, I think that it makes complete sense to do that if you're comfortable with it. So, all right, great discussion. Thank you, everyone. Coming up, where is Lou Dobbs? Once an icon of news, he has vanished. Our intrepid reporter goes in search. Next on American Agenda after this.